Right, we want to disconnect the battery, disconnect the negative cable using an 8mm ratchet wrench or a wrench. And slide that out of the way. We're going to take this panel off, just use a trim tool, take all these clips off, just like that. And then grab this panel, just slide it off. Now when we take the latch off, you want to mark this before you take it off. Just use a marker and just try to put it back on in the same position where you took it off. You could also mark the bolts. Now I'm going to use a 10mm socket, take these 3 bolts out. Now just take the cable out of the latch, just slide this like that. Then you can use some needle nose pliers. Just squeeze the ends of the cable. It should slide right out. Just like that. Now I'm going to take this trim piece off. You can use a trim tool. Just get underneath it. Just pop it up. And slide it out of the way. Now I'll take this trim piece off. Just slide this out. Oh, it's bent. That's what happened. And slide that out. And there's supposed to be a clip right there and a clip right there, and this one got stuck in there and broke off. And now I'm going to pull this junction box cover off. There's a little plastic nut right here. You have to take that off. And then take the cover off. Just like that. Now I'm going to disconnect the connectors. Just keep in mind, you could always take a picture of where the connectors are so you know where they go. Although they're not going to go in the wrong spot. They only go in one position. So just push down, lock tab, and slide the connectors out. There we go. And the last one. And then there's 2 tabs on either side. Push those tabs in. Should be able to rock this forward. And then slide it out of the way. You can use a 7mm socket. And there's a bolt that holds the connector on. Loosen that bolt up. There we go. Move this wire from this little retainer right there. Now I'm going to take this bracket out of the way. There's a 10mm bolt or 10mm nut right there. Use a socket, take that out. And there's a 13mm nut right there. Use a socket, take that out. Slide that bracket out of the way. Now I'm just going to take the parking brake release handle out of the way. Use a 10mm socket. Take this bolt out. And there's the 4-wheel drive module. There's a clip that just holds it on. You can take that clip off. You can disconnect it, or you can just swing it out of the way. Just push on the tabs for the connector and slide the connector out. And same with this one. You can use a screwdriver, straight blade screwdriver, get under the tab. Slide that out of the way. Now there's 2 nuts at the top of the parking brake lever assembly. You can use a 13mm socket, take those both out. It's kind of hard to see those bolts, or the nuts. There's the other nut. Disconnect this electrical connector that goes to the parking brake lever or pedal assembly. There you go, just slide it off. This bracket is actually in the way. I'm going to take these 2 10mm nuts off. I'm just going to use a 10mm ratchet wrench. Loosen these up, take those out. And just slide this out of the way. Just slides off. Now I'll just use the pry bar. Just try to pry the pedal assembly out a little bit. Alright, there we go. And just slide it out of the way. You don't have to disconnect it completely. You just gotta be able to access underneath here. And watch your fingers because there's some sharp edges. Just leave that there. Now I'm gonna take this nut off, use a 13mm socket. Take that out and grab the release handle. Just keep in mind where the routing of this cable goes behind these wires right here, but it goes over those wires. Now take the cable. Now there's some retainers that hold the cable down. Just take it off there. Keep in mind how this cable goes. Slide that out. There's another right here. And another right there. There's another holder right here. Just gonna slide the cable over here. Just so it's easier to pull through. Just watch the paint. And then from inside the car, there's a grommet that goes through the firewall. If you just pull on that grommet, you should be able to pull it out. Pull it straight through into the vehicle. And there it is. This is where the hole is that the cable goes through from the inside. All right, now I'm gonna fish this cable through. I'm gonna show you right now how this goes. Now, there's a step on this grommet right here. For this vehicle, it's only gonna go to the first step. It's not gonna go all the way to the third step, based on the size of the hole that goes through the firewall. So just slide that through behind these wires, over the other wires, and then through the firewall. When you get up to the firewall, just push it in. I just pulled this plate off real quick just so you could see this better. But if you could see the rubber grommet, you can see how it's through the firewall right there. If you have to, use some soapy water to try to get that to come through a little better, or you can use some hose pliers. Just grab onto the rubber grommet and just try to pull it to get it to the right spot. Now it looks good, it's sealed all the way around. Now I have this bracket out of the way. If you want to take it out of the way, you can just take these 4 13mm bolts out and just slide the cable down there, back into that hole down. And there's one right here. And just route it the same way it came out. Just go under this bracket. There's another bracket right here. It should be attached. And slide it through here. And into that hold down right there. And that's good right there. Now, if you go to put this bracket on and the hole isn't really big enough for the stud, what you can do is just hone this hole out a little bit. Just use a bigger drill bit to make that a little bigger so it fits. Just gonna use a stepper drill bit. Just go to the next size. Yep, perfect. And take the nut, get the nut started. And tighten it down. Just snug. Now take the parking brake pedal assembly and line it up. Just be careful not to squish any wires. That's good right there. All right, now we're gonna take the nuts and put the 2 nuts up top. You're gonna leave that nut off that stud down below because you have to put the other bracket on. So get these started and then snug up those bolts. Now we'll take the bracket that holds the transfer case module, the four-wheel drive module, and slide this in position. Put that bracket back there. Put those two nuts on and snug those nuts down. Now you can take this module, you can plug these connectors in first if you want. And it says right on it, black one or the gray one. And slide that in position. Lock it in place. Now take the parking brake release handle. There's a little tab right here. Just slide it in there. And then put the bolts back in. And snug it up. And hook the wire that goes to the parking brake up. Just on that tab right there. That's good. Put the bracket in position. It's gonna go over the stud over here and then over the other stud over here. And take this nut, put that over that stud. And take this nut over here. Alright, now take the connector and put the junction box, plug that into the back. Take your 7mm socket, tighten that bolt down, just snug it down. Not too tight, just once it stops, then you're good. Alright, that's good. Now line these two tabs up first on the bracket. And lock it down. Right. Now we can line this harness up over here. This little retainer that holds it. Hold down. Alright, that's good. And then plug the connectors in. Alright, ready? And this one's gonna go right here. Just lock it in place. And this tan one, or brown one's gonna go right here. And this other one go up top, all the way to the right. Now your vehicle might have other connectors, so just put them back where they went. Now take this cover, line it up. And put the plastic nut back on. You can just push it on, you don't have to twist it. Now I'll take this panel. If your clips aren't broken, then you can line those up here and just push them in this direction. Now take this panel and slide it in position. Get it lined up, and it looks good. And take the hood latch. And take the hood latch and the cable, slide the cable through. You might have to twist this a little bit and lock that in place. Line that up, that's good. And get the bolts lined up. Now line this up with your marks. And tighten down the bolts. Now you just want to make sure the hood pin where it latches to the hood just lines up, and it looks good. So you can close it, give it a try. Perfect. Now we can put this cover on and put the push pins back in. Now we can hook up the battery, line it up, get it started, and snug it up. Just make sure it's not loose. That's good.